Good morning. So this is the fourth session for projections of solids, and if you just remember in the previous classes we have just done the projections of solids with the axis inclined to both the planes, and today I am going to concentrate on this third method. So what are those first and second method? If you just recollect, in the first method or in the first case, so what we did was to satisfy that the solid is inclined to both the planes, we would have given one axis inclination, one side inclination. That is, the combination of axis inclination and side inclination can also be given in the problem, so that we can fulfill that the solid has been inclined to both the planes. So if you just recollect, we have just done that in 3 stages, and whenever we give axis inclination and side inclination, we should also recollect that I need to satisfy first the axis inclination, then in the third stage we need to satisfy the other inclination, that is the side inclination. Okay, but let us say instead of giving in that particular way, I can also have a problem statement in this way. That is, I can say the axis of the solid is inclined to both HP as well as VP. Now since I have given axis inclined to both HP as well as VP, now I need to say how I need to start. Because anyway I told you in the previous 2 cases, when the axis is inclined to a particular plane, I need to consider that particular axis to be perpendicular to that particular plane. Now in this particular case, I have given the axis inclination for both HP as well as VP. So whenever we give in this way, strictly speaking, I can do it either starting from top view or front view. But in the problem statement, I would have given one line saying that an edge of the base. But anyway, an edge of the base maybe in HP I can give, or I can say an edge of the base is in VP also I can give, or I can say a corner is in HP also I can give, or I can give a corner is resting on VP also I can give. Okay. Now if I give those statements, let us say if I say that a particular edge of the base is in HP, if I give that particular statement, I need to start from top view, because in that particular case, if I want to say that an edge of the base resting on HP means in the initial figure, that is in the top view, I need to take that particular base edge to be perpendicular to VP. Okay. Now if I say one of the base edges is resting on VP, if I gave in that particular way, then I need to start from front view, wherein that particular edge should be taken perpendicular to HP, that is in the front view. Similarly, the same condition holds good for if I give that it is resting on a corner. Okay. Now today I am going to concentrate on this axis inclined to both HP as well as VP, and since in the previous sessions I have considered a prism, then I have considered a pyramid. Now I want to consider a cylinder to illustrate this particular case. Now all of you are aware that if I say a cylinder has got 2 bases, that is it has got 2 circular bases. I can say the bottom base or I can say the top base, and these 2 bases are bounded by a curved figure, or I can say a curved surface. Is it okay? That's how we define a cylinder. So if I want to just draw the ortho projection of this particular cylinder, you know that if I just hold it like this, that is if I say that axis is perpendicular to HP, let us say base is resting on HP. If I just hold it in this way, you always know that if I want to draw the top view, so in the top view I can just see the base circle, whereas in the front view I will see this as a rectangle. So just remember, if I have a sphere, what will happen? If I have a sphere, both top view as well as front view, it will be seen as circles. But in the case of cylinders, if one view it is seen as a circle, in the other view it will be seen as a rectangle. Okay. Now let us do a problem. Let us consider a problem. I will just say that draw the projections of a cylinder of a particular diameter. Let us say some 40 mm diameter and some 55 mm axis length is resting on one of its circumference point on HP. Okay, such that it is resting on one of the circumference point on HP, then the axis of this particular solid or this particular cylinder is inclined at 30 degrees to HP and 45 degrees to VP. Now I need to do this particular problem. Okay. So as I said, in this particular case, I need to draw the solid in simple position. So in the simple position, what will happen now? First I will draw this XY line. Now as I said, this particular cylinder rests on circumference point on HP or on the ground. Since a particular point is resting on the ground means, if I hold it in this way only, just see this, if I hold it in this way, then a circumference point is resting on HP. So as you can see, initially I will draw in this way. So I will draw the corresponding top view, then I will draw the corresponding front view. In the second stage, I am just going to incline in this way. So if I just incline in this way, then this particular cylinder rests on a circumference point on HP. Not only that, axis is inclined to HP. Okay, that is, I am going to redraw the front view. So redraw the front view and draw the corresponding top view. Now we can see that this particular base is inclined to HP now. Since the circular base is inclined to HP, it will be seen as an ellipse. Okay, so that I am going to get two ellipses. Is it okay? That is my second stage. In the third stage, I am going to rotate in this way, because anyway in the second stage still the axis is parallel to VP, but it is inclined to HP. But I wanted this axis to be inclined to VP also, so that I will just rotate in this way. So once I rotate in this way, that is, I need to redraw the top view. So once I redraw the top view, then I can show the axis inclination with reference to VP. Then finally I can draw the new front view. That would say that to satisfy this axis inclined to both HP as well as VP, already we have seen that we can get this in three stages, that is stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3. Okay, now let us start with stage 1. Okay, now anyway stage 1, I told you that the circumference point is resting on HP. Since the circumference point is resting on HP, first I need to satisfy the axis inclination with reference to HP. Is it okay? Now since the axis is inclined to HP, as usual I will consider that axis to be perpendicular to HP. Since the axis is perpendicular to HP, true base will be seen in top view. So I will start from top view. Now just see this, especially in the case of cylinders and cone, orientation is not at all a problem. I need to simply conclude whether I need to start from top view or front view. Is it okay? So as you can see now, since it is resting on one of the circumference point on HP, so that the axis I will make it inclined to HP. Since the axis is inclined to HP, I need to first keep it axis to be perpendicular to HP. Since the axis is perpendicular to HP, that's what I assume, so that the base will be seen in the top view. So we'll start with top. Okay, so let us draw the top. So as I told you, in the subsequent stages, this particular base will be seen as an ellipse. Is it not? That's the reason to draw the ellipse, I need to get some intermediate points. So that intermediate points will corresponding to generators. Okay. Now, if you consider more number of points, you are going to get the curve to be very smooth, so that you will not have a problem of reflex point there, because how the curve changes direction. But anyway, for clarity here, I am just going to take only 8 parts. But when you are doing it this manually, I want all of you to divide this base circle into 12 parts. Okay. And again, as I told you, these are all the generators which I am considering. These radial lines are generators, and these generators, as I said, I am considering any number of them. Since that is the case, I need to draw these radial lines as light as possible. Remember that only this base circle I need to dark, whereas these generators or radial lines has to be as light as possible. Okay, now how do you name them? As usual, I will start from the leftmost visible point in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so let us say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So as you can say, naming has to be done such that we have two bases. So what I did was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. 8 radial lines or 8 generators for the one of the bases. Another base A1, B1, C1, D1, E1, F1, G1 and H1. Okay. Now I need to draw the corresponding front view. Now anyway I told you that one of the circumference point of this particular cylinder is resting on HP. So what I do is I will consider one of the base on XY line itself. Okay. So let me draw that. Then these are all intermediate generators, so I want to write these intermediate generators as late as possible. Is it okay? I just drawn all the generators. Now as you can see, which points will be on XY line, because you have A1, B1, C1, D1 and A, B, C, D, E. So as you can see, your A1, B1, C1, D1 should correspond to bottom base and A, B, C, D should correspond to top base. Okay, so let us write that A dash, B dash, C dash, E dash, F dash, G dash and H dash. Similarly here A1 dash, B1 dash, C1 dash, D1 dash, E1 dash, F1 dash, G1 dash and H1. So as you can see, the advantage of naming the points in a particular fashion is, without looking into this figure, I can simply get the namings. Is it okay? That is the advantage. Okay, now I have just done the stage 1, and as you can see in the stage 1, I have not shown the axis. Why I have not shown the axis? Axis will come here only. That is, I will connect as O and O1. So this O and O1 will come between this CC and GG. That's the reason I cannot show. Is it okay? And again remember, these generators has to be light. Okay. Okay, now stage 1 is complete. Now I need to show the axis inclination with reference to HP. That is, I need to redraw the front view. How do you redraw the front view? I need to redraw the front view such that axis should incline at 30 degrees. Not only that, one of the ends, that is circumferential points, should be on HP. It should be on XY line. So as you can see here, either I can draw in this way or I can draw this in this way. So I can do it in any fashion. Is it because either I can say that this point A is on XY line or A1, or I can say this point, circumferential point E1 dash is also on XY line. So it will be any fashion. So what I do is I will simply redraw this figure in this way only. Okay, so that I want to place this E1 on XY line. Now as you can see, to redraw this figure, already I told you also, since the axis is inclined at 30 degrees, the base should incline at 60. So what I do is, first I will start with base itself. Is it okay? So let us do that. So I will take this length and I put it somewhere here. So again I will take this length and put it here. It is just redrawing the figure, that's all. Then as usual I will get these intermediate points or intermediate generators. Okay. Then if I extend this angle is theta, which is equal to 30 degrees. Now I need to put the points. Anyway, I want to have A here, so that A will come here. So let this as A1 dash, B1 dash, C1 dash, D1 dash, E1 dash, F1 dash, G1 dash and H1 dash. Similarly, I will get A dash, B dash, C dash, D dash, E dash, F dash, G dash, H dash. Is it okay? Now we have redrawn the front view. So once you redraw the front view, I need to get the new top view. So how do you get the new top view? Same procedure. What is the procedure? Draw the vertical projectors from the redrawn front view, that is a new front view. Then draw the horizontal projectors from the previous top view. Okay, so let me do that. So remember, all these projectors what I am drawing here should be as light as possible. So you should never dark anything. It should be very light. Okay, now let us mark the points, the intersection of the corresponding projectors. Okay, so horizontal projector A and the vertical projector A is here. So I get this as A. Similarly, I can mark points together. Always remember, so that you can also avoid, you can save time. So you can put two points together. Okay, that is I put A. So this is A1, that is A. Now we can see BD, B1, D1. 4 points I can directly mark. Okay, B1. So you can see this. This is B1, then this is D1, this is B, this is D. Is it okay? Similarly, C. So C should be here, C should be here. Okay, then similarly for E. Can you see this cylinder is a symmetrical object. Since it is symmetrical, you have to get symmetrical points here also. Is it okay? So I can directly mark here without looking. Can you see this? Can you just see how I marked? Okay, now I just mark the points. And naming also you can do later also, because I have seen students now, they are worried about putting points. If you just keep on, because as I said, here you have how many points here? We have, anyway in this case I have taken 8 plus 8, 16 points. So if you keep on giving prominence to that, I cannot see the curve. Okay, just mark the points, then get the projections, then you can show some intermediate points later. Is it okay? So don't unnecessarily keep on marking A, B, C, D, A1, B1, C1, etc. Not required. Only as a reference I can just mark here. Okay? Okay, now I need to complete this. How do you complete this? Remember, I need to follow the procedure. So what is the procedure I said? That is, to complete this front top view, the reference figure is this new front view. So in the new front view, as usual, we know from first angle projection, this is plane, then this will be your object, observer position. Is it okay? Now for the observer, which base is nearer to him? Top ABCD. So first complete that base. So as you can see, since I have taken only 8 points now, I am not going to get very smooth curve, because I have to imagine and do it. Let us say if I have taken 12 generators, I would have got intermediate points here also, so that you would have got the curve more smoothly. Is it okay? That is the reason we insist students to take minimum 12 generators. Okay, I have just done this base. So which is the next step? Boundaries. So boundary is this particular line, then this particular portion of the curve, then like this. Third step, no third step here. Why? I told you there longer edges or slant edges, but anyway you know that for a cylinder it is only a curved surface. On that curved surface I have just assumed some generators, so I can assume hundreds of generators. So no need to show all the generators, I need to show only the end generator. Already I have taken care of the end generators. Over. Now what else is remaining in this particular case? I need to, other base has to be completed. So other base I have shown only partly. So what about this portion? For the observer, I cannot see that portion. So obviously, this particular portion of this base has to be dotted. Then of course, I can show the axis. So axis is from this point to this point. So this is O1. Okay, now we can say in the second stage, what we have shown is axis is inclined to HP, but it is still parallel to VP. Yeah, now I told you that we need to do the third stage. So in the third stage, I need to satisfy the inclination of this particular axis with reference to VP. I have given that axis is inclined at 45 degrees to VP. Anyway, due to that, we need to redraw this figure. Now we just observe one thing here. I have given this axis inclination 45 degrees to VP, and whenever I say phi, you remember that we have just told you when we did projections of lines, that is, this phi and theta represents true angles. And always remember, these true angles should go with true lengths only. But you see this figure, because anyway I said that I need to redraw the second stage. If I redraw this figure, in the second stage already this axis is foreshortened. Why it is foreshortened? Because I have taken this axis inclined to HP in the front view. Since the axis is inclined in front view, here this is not the true axis, this is the apparent axis. But the angle given is what? True angle. So I cannot mix true angle with apparent length. I need to find the apparent angle. Always remember, whenever you are doing any problem, apparent angle should go with apparent length and true length will go with true angle. Is it okay? Now anyway, I need to now find the apparent angle. To find the apparent angle, this is the procedure. I have just drawn this particular line. This is a true angle at 45 degrees. Now upon this true angle line, I need to show the true length of the axis. Where do you get the true length of the axis? You can just see the first figure. In the first figure, I say this is my true length of the axis. Why it is true length of the axis? Because in the top view, axis O1 is seen as a point. What do we seen as a point? It is parallel to VP. Since it is parallel to VP, I can see its true length in the front view. So that I will take this axis length here. Or anyway, it is given in the problem. So I can just take the true length of the axis. So I will just mark it arbitrarily somewhere I will mark. Let us say this is the true length. That is, I just taken this length, then I have marked here. Is it okay? So this is my true length. So since it is true length, I will consider this as TL. Just for our reference. Is it okay? Now I have just drawn these locus points. That is how these ends will move in the top view. Is it okay? Now I know the apparent length. So what is the apparent length of the axis? That is because of this axis is inclined 30 degrees to HP. Let us say the axis is inclined at some other angle, I would have got the different apparent length. Now in this particular case, since for a given length of the axis which is inclined at 30 degrees, apparent angle has to be this one only. So this will not be different. Is it okay? Now anyway, this apparent length I can get it from the second stage. So I will take this length. Okay, so now we can see this apparent length has to be smaller than true length. You can just see, that's what I have taken. Is it okay? So I will take this apparent length. Now with this as center, I will draw an arc. Now remember what I am doing? With this as a center, draw an arc. Either do in this way or take this length with this as center also you can cut it. So you can do it in any fashion, you can do it. Is it okay? But anyway, for current just done in this way. Is it okay? Now take this particular length. Let us say I am going to cut it here. Cut it in this way. Okay, let us say I am going to get this. So this, if I mark, you can just see this. This is my apparent length. Now, since this is apparent length, if I extend this line, And if I measure this angle is given by what? Given by beta. Now you can see this beta has to be greater than pi. Is it okay? I think you would have done this in your process of lines, wherein we have noted that always the apparent angles are greater than the true angles. Of course, apparent lengths are smaller than the true lengths. Okay, so now this is my apparent angle. Now I have marked the axis now. So I have just marked this. Now what I need to do? I need to redraw this figure such that this particular line should match with this. Okay, so that it should match with this apparent angle which is greater than 45 degrees. So this is very, very crucial. Is it okay? But anyway, you need to redraw this figure. Okay, now as you can see, now already we have found out this beta which is greater than 5. So remember, and also this particular angle beta will not be too much different. So maybe if it is 45, you would have got it as some 47 or 48. So that even if you don't do this, if you do the problem, you will get the solution. I mean, it will not be that much difference, but very, very crucial. That is, when we are evaluating this, first we will see this, whether a student has really done this apparent angle. If he has not done, you will not see this figure at all. So you will get 0 for the last stage. Is it okay? So you need to see whether apparent angle is required or not. But in this problem, as I told you, I have given the true angle. Since I have given the true angle, since I am redrawing the second stage, in the second stage already the axis is inclined and we need to find the apparent angle. Okay, once we found the apparent angle, I am just redrawing this figure like this. Okay, I am just rotated in this way. I would have rotated in this way also. I mean, you can rotate in any fashion. Depending upon that, your final front view will be coming. Okay, now I have just rotated in this way such that this particular axis coincides with this. Okay, now since I have redrawn this figure here, this particular ABCDE, that is, which is the top base, which has come down now. Okay, and this bottom base has come nearer to the XY. Okay, so once you do this, now the next step is what? I need to get the final front view. How to get the final front view? Same procedure. That is, I need to draw the vertical projectors from the new top view and horizontal projectors from the previous front view. Okay, as I said, I need to get the new front view. So to get the new front view, I need to draw the vertical projectors from the new top view and horizontal projectors from the previous front view. So what I did was I just drawn all the projectors and the corresponding projectors intersection points I just marked. That is, I just marked A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, then A1, B1, C1, D1, G1, H1 corresponding to the each projectors projecting from this particular view. Okay, so then as usual the procedure. So what are the procedure? To complete this figure, this is the reference figure. So this is the object, plane and the observer. Is it okay? Now for the observer, which base is visible to him? A, B, C, D, E, this base is visible. Here this is that particular base. So first complete that base. So we'll just complete this. A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, E to F, F to G, G to H and G back to H, H back to E. Is it okay? So first step is over. Second step is I need to mark the boundaries. Just see here, always your boundaries need not be corresponding to a particular point also. No need. But we need to draw the extreme line. Now in this particular case, the extreme line corresponds to somewhere here. So we just mark it here, that is this to this particular point. You can just see this. So this is my extreme line. Similarly, this side also H to H. Here is D to D, there it is H to H. So I just drawn this. Now we can just see your solids keep on emerging now. So now we can really imagine the figure properly. Okay. Now boundary. So boundary is nothing but this particular ellipse. So what to do then? Get this. Is it okay? Now the remaining thing is what? the hidden portion of the cylinder, which I can show now. So which is the hidden portion? This portion. Then I can show the axis also as usual. So axis is this point and here this point. You can just see this. This is my reference point, reference point. This is, I can say, O dash. Then similarly here corresponds to this. So this projector and here this projector. So this is the other point. That is, I can say it as O1 dash. So I can show this also. Just remember, when I get this axis has to be parallel to your end generators. It cannot be similar. Now we can see, finally I had done the projections wherein this particular cylinder resting on one of the circumference point on the HP. So that is this point E on HP, such that axis is getting inclined to both HP as well as VP. Is it clear? Now as you can see, this problem is also similar to what we have done earlier. Only thing is it requires some, you should be more concentrate while getting these figures. Is it okay? Now in the same problem, here I told you that axis is inclined at 30 degrees to HP and 45 degrees to VP. Instead of that, generally what we can also give in the problem is, instead of telling that axis is inclined to HP at 45 degrees, I can give directly saying that top view of the axis is inclined at 45 degrees. Where do you have the top view of the axis? This is the top view of the axis. That is, he would have given directly the axis inclination. That is, he would have given directly the beta. Is it okay? So now we can make the distinction. So if I say true angle, that is theta, and in this particular case, if I say top view of the axis is inclined at 45 degrees, if I say in this particular fashion, then beta itself is 45 degrees. Whereas in this particular case, the phi was 45, so that beta was, your beta in this case is greater than phi. So you should be careful while doing this problem. And in the problem statement, either I can say top view of the axis is inclined at 45 degrees to VP. That is one type of statement. Another statement I can also say that axis appears to be inclined at 45 degrees to VP. That also I can say. Or I can also say in this particular, say a horizontal section. A horizontal section, or I can say a horizontal plane is inclined at 45 degrees. So if I give those three statements, it means that apparent angle is directly given to you. Since the apparent angle is directly given to you, you need to have to again find this. Remember, because student has made it a practice to find this beta always, not required. When you are supposed to find this beta angle, when the true angle is given the problem. But in the problem statement, if I say that axis appears to be inclined at 45 degrees, or top view of the axis is inclined at 45 degrees, or a horizontal plane passing through this particular axis is inclined at 45 degrees. So even if I give that statement also, it means that I have given directly the beta angle. So I need to redraw this figure to this particular 45 degrees itself, then you get the corresponding new front view. Understood? Thank you.